You alright guys, how's it going? It is David Cloden from KZR Racing once again, and welcome back to my F1 Manager 22 career mode for round number 10 of Season 2 for our home Grand Prix at the British Grand Prix. If you guys did miss the last episode, do feel free to check out my channel. The playlist will be there. Sorry for the bit of a delay. I mentioned in the last episode I had a little bit of a cold and it got very worse, so I had to spend the last few days in bed getting that sorted. But we're back now, with a few days to go to the British Grand Prix, and the aerodynamic testing period should be open by now, so exceeding expectations for the last race. Spoiler alert for the last race if you haven't seen it. We managed to get our second podium of the season with Pierre Gasly after a, quite frankly, crazy race. We qualified poorly, to be brutally honest, but we made up for it in the race because multiple safety cars and the rain period as well, we had rain midway through that race, allowed Gasly to actually take the lead for a good period of that race. But unfortunately, when it dried up in the second half of the race, the overline pace of the Ferrari of Carlos Sainz, who won in the end, was just too much for us to hold on to. So P2 though was more adequate than what we needed. So we can now go to the cars, and we can now start doing more bits and pieces. We've got 10 days to go for the underfloor research for next year. So for the design for this year, what did we design last time? I believe it was front wing. Oh, actually, yeah, before I do that, poor old Sebastian ended up crashing out of that Canadian Grand Prix as well. So he ended up with a DNF. So 5 days, yep, 50k, that'll be fine. So yeah, he ended up damaging his chassis and his spare front wing. So that was not the most ideal outcome, in all honesty. So yeah, the chassis will be here. If I don't have to, extend the days for which I can get the parts in, that's okay. So 10 days, last car part should be here in 10 days, so that will give us enough time there. Right, now we can actually get on with designing something. So actually, before we do that, so we've done, yeah, the front wing. So rear wing was 3, chassis was 2, side pods was 2, and underfloor is 2. I'm not doing an underfloor because we've already got although considering where we are, it might actually be a good idea to do the underfloor. So we've done the front wing chassis, so yeah, I'm thinking underfloor and chassis might be the call here actually. So let's do, oh, I can't do the underfloor because it's in rotation, so let's do the chassis. Split this evenly, so 2.2 with 29 wind tunnel hours. So now, design focus, get the drag reduction going, get a little bit of engine cooling in and up the middle. No, we'll leave it as it is. We're gaining on the airflow and that anyway, so we just need drag reduction mainly. So, development settings, 5 engineers, 24 days. And we will do, yeah, apparently from what I heard as well, if we do intense, we actually get more experience on doing the parts this way, so that's what I've seen and found out on a couple of other guys who have done career modes on this, so it's definitely worth doing. And then, so we're at British Grand Prix. So we've still got a few high-speed tracks. So I'm thinking if we do this as well for the side pods and get as much streamlining going as we can. So another 29 on there. And now, all the way up on the drag. Still getting improvement on the airflow and everything, so it's not the end of the world. So now, 5 engineers, intense. And that will come in 32 days, so we've got a month to do this, but I definitely feel the experience gained from here should be a bit more beneficial. So now, the only thing we have to do, actually let's go over our drivers and our staff at the moment. So no development points for Vettel or Gasly, 1 for Jack though. So let's get him on smoothness again. So that is now Jack done. If we have a look at the staff, no, 1 for Ben Mitchell. So let's do the feedback for him on Gasly. So that should be all of that. So let us skip ahead now. So if we go down to here, hospitality areas in poor condition, so let's refurbish that. Back to the emails. Monthly car development report. We are still midway. Obviously, we're still down on the top speed and acceleration, so hopefully, now that I've sorted the drag reduction out, it should be a little bit better for us. We are still around midway in regards to our cornering, but we're still working on that a little bit. As soon as I get, it won't be now, but as soon as I get the next aerodynamic period, because when the research for the underfloor next year, I'm going to be jumping straight on to the what will be the next one, the front wing for next year. Sort that out, and then it'll have to be until the next. It won't be until the next aerodynamic period that we could get the underfloor made for this year. So not much we can do at the moment. So our chassis has been manufactured, and we've got to do a little bit of managing here for the cars. So warehouse. Actually, no. So underfloor, we need to go to powertrain. So engine and gearbox seem to be good still. So we'll put the second ERS in for car 1, and we need to do the same for car 2. So we're going to need to get some new parts for the engine and whatnot. So that's going to be, what about gearbox? Still got a broken gearbox for Sebastian. Got a broken damaged gearbox for Pierre as well. So we're going to need gearboxes at some point. Engines, we're still okay for the moment, so that should be okay. Fast forward ahead, and the underfloor research is now done, along with the manufacturing of the last front wings. So let's go to here. That, and the underfloor research is now complete. So we can now research the next one, which will be the front wing. What was the regs for next year first? Hang on. There's the board, team magic profile, rules and regulations, financial, sporting, technical. Right, so... Okay, so it's more medium, then high, then low was the last one. It's across the whole board. It's across the board, so we'll see the same thing. Yeah, right, so I need to go back to car development, new project, research front wing. Throw everything we got at this. Now we get to have a look at this. So medium. Let's jump it all the way up. A little bit of brake cooling as well, just to make sure we're okay on that front. A little bit of air sensitivity. That seems to be round about where we want it. So let us get to work on this. 5 engineers and get the front wing research going for next year. So a little bit more admin than I thought there would be, but this is all part of the course for this season. So let's go to the race prep, target reviews, qualifying position. Actually, what's my qualifying? Okay, we're still on the hot streak, so that's fine. Right, reached Q2. I'm not being fancy with Q3 this time. Finishing position, fastest lap. That is fine. That's all good. So, without any further ado, guys, after all that admin, let us go to practice for the British Grand Prix.
We're here in legendary Silverstone, where the very first...
Okay, going to practice one, we are met with immediately rainfall, so... But fortunately, it should only be for the first practice, so... At least that saves us some sets of additional tyres for the race if we need it, so... We will... I'm not changing out the drivers this time. We changed out Sebastian last time, I believe we did. So we'll just simulate practice one. As we normally do, get that going. Go to the next. Gasly is 6th. Leclerc's got a penalty for this race, so... And Sebastian, all the way down in 16th. So not looking good for Sebastian. 38-36 on setup confidence. So I will go through their setup confidence. I'll go through their setups. And we will skip ahead to the end of the practice sessions. Providing nothing happens, of course. And we will see where these guys stand before qualifying. Right, we're fully skipped right through to the end of both practice sessions. You didn't miss anything apart from Ricciardo and Sainz coming together. But all in all, not too bad. We got 86 on Sebastian, 89 on Pierre, full of track clubsization, so no problems. So we're going to go through. Okay, I don't know why Sebastian has been given this penalty. He hasn't run out of allocation on his parts or anything, so it must have been a track infringement that I am not aware of. So, post-practice report, sponsors. Yeah, nothing where I can't find out about how he got the penalty for some reason. But yeah, so we're going to put an additional lap of fuel in both guys. And we are going to go through qualifying and see how we stack up for the race on Sunday. Well, we've just got to the end of Q2. Unfortunately, Sebastian has been eliminated, and that also incurs a 3-pace grid penalty, so he'll be starting 17th near the back. Gasly, meanwhile, only just managed to scrape through ahead of Bottas. So, again, not well, it is a power circuit. Unfortunately, we don't have the overwhelming. We don't have the aerodynamic. What's the word I'm looking for? Sorry, I'm still recovering from not being well. I apologise if my mind goes blank sometimes. I've done it a few times already. The drag reduction necessary to actually compete properly. So we're going to be doing a bit of slipstreaming in this race. Right, I had to do a cut, guys. I tried to manage the Q3 session, but for whatever reason, the game decided it wasn't going to recognise my command inputs on the controller. I took the batteries out and put them back in and reset the controller, but it didn't work. I could still like quit the game via the Xbox, but the basically the game decided it wasn't going to let me do anything. So I had to restart the console and simulate Q3 session. You didn't miss much. I pretty much qualified exactly where I simulated on here, so that is the end of Q3. So we're in P9 with Gasly.
It's race day,
it was
with the teams and drivers
it's still where we were. We were P10. We were P10 at the end of the actual session that I managed, but we were still with Zhou. So, and there was like only like a couple of hundredths in it, so it doesn't really matter too much. So now going into the strategy, 2 stops all around no matter what. So, or there's a 1 stop as well, but I think a lot of people are going to try the 2 stop. For Sebastian, I'm going to swap these tyres around, start him on the hards, and put him on the mediums later on the later stint. So I'll put him in around lap 30 and go, or lap 29. We'll do lap 30 and see how his tyre wear is, but we'll put him in, we'll put him on the hards and try and do this strategy for him. And it would have helped if I'd actually updated the strategy. So, try this again. So lap 30, we'll do 29 just to be safe. And then update the strategy and put him on that one. So that'll be Sebastian's strategy for Pierre. We're going to start him on the medium tyres no matter what. It just depends what everyone else does around him. So 52, 24, 53. So yeah, we'll start him on the medium tyres and see how the race goes. Because I don't think he's got a fresh set of soft tyres left. I'll have to have a look. But we will put him on the reverse strategy of what Sebastian's doing. And then do the usual. Bump their fuel up. Driving options. Fuel usage. We'll just keep him on that. And for Gasly, bump him all the way up. Driving options, fuel usage, attack, and deploy off the start. Try and get a couple of positions if we can. So that's about it, guys. So without further ado, let us go to the British Grand Prix.
It's a somewhat overcast day for the drivers, who've now taken position on the grid. And there we have Pierre Gasly. With a top 10 position on the grid, this race could really go either way for them. And for the second driver, it's Sebastian Vettel. They'll be starting the race from the bottom half of the grid, so there's a fair bit of ground to make up. The race start is mere seconds away. Anticipation is high.
There's the green flag at the back. 5 red lights to the British Grand Prix.
And it's lights out.
And we are
And
off.
away we
Gasly
go.
does get an extra position because one of the Ferraris has dropped behind him due to his penalty. And Gasly at the moment is unfortunately going to be fighting Guan Yu Zhou, who's just gone round the outside, but Gasly fires it straight back down the inside. But again, Zhou's not letting it go. But Gasly just gets the overwhelming advantage off the line.
That's it.
So back to neutral. He's already on the back of the two cars ahead, which is Alonso and Sainz fighting each other.
Let's take a look at the replay.
Sebastian as well has already gained a place off the start, overtaking Hulkenberg. Starting on the hard tyres. There's quite a few of us starting on the hard tyres back here, but Sebastian gets the line and just eases his way ahead of Hulkenberg. So now, we'll go back to Gasly. He's following Sainz and Alonso through onto the old pit straight. So let's have a look at the tyres. Not so many of them starting on the mediums, I thought, hard as I thought would. It's just some of us guys at the back and Ocon. But everyone else has started on the mediums. And as you can see, the lack of aerodynamic slipperiness down the straights is telling, because a lot of the guys in front are already pulling away from us. So long as those guys up front keep fighting and Gasly can stick with them, we can at least try and hold this position. But for the moment, just going through the period at the start of this race where no DRS, so it's purely just probably just down to the pace of the drivers at the moment and the cars. But as you can see, we're just slowly falling backwards and backwards from that front group. We're actually holding up quite a train here with Gasly, as you can see, one of which includes the Ferrari of Leclerc, so he's no doubt going to come through. But we've already fallen a second away from Alonso at this point, so it's not looking good so far, unfortunately. Just need the problem is Gasly is being put off by Zhou behind him and is not able to stick within range of the guys in front, because Zhou's just quicker than us at the moment. Sad truth of the tale, but he is. We've already fallen to 1.2 behind Alonso in just 2 laps, so that's how slow we are on this style of circuit. Meanwhile, Zhou is just making things even more difficult for us. As we now start lap 3. DRS is now enabled, but we've fallen to a second outside of Alonso again. We did pull back in briefly, but again, Zhou is just making it so unnecessarily difficult. There's an overtake by Vettel on Magnussen, it seemed, didn't work out. So we're going to go aggressive and defend.
Pick up the pace a bit.
Unfortunately, Gasly does not have DRS, so unfortunately we managed to do enough just to keep ahead of Zhou, but now that we're not in the DRS train, we're just going to fall further and further away from this lot. So we're going to be fighting just to stay in the points at this rate, guys. Have a look at Sebastian. And he has gotten past Magnussen already, so he must have done it down the Wellington. Yep, there you go. Cleanly down the inside into Woodcock. And then through Luffield. Clean as you like. So Sebastian's moved up to P15. Meanwhile, Gasly now 1.8 behind Alonso, so this is going to be our race, just trying to stick with these guys, unfortunately. So don't want to keep using the DRS. There's no real point in fighting this, because Zhou's going to get us eventually at some point. Now, unfortunately, Sebastian's just lost his place to Magnussen in the background, I just saw, because of DRS. So, yeah, this is going to be the story of this race, guys. We're probably only going to be scrapping for low points today, but unfortunately, that's the nature of the way our car is at the moment. So, we'll skip ahead and see how the guys do later on. Just cut back to Vettel. He's overtaken Hulkenberg again, and it's 3 wide behind him. Look at the state of this. The Ricciardo and 2 Hasses side by side, 3 wide the whole way. One of them's backed out. That is Hulkenberg.
So frustrating.
And now,
It's P10 for now.
as we see Ricciardo and now Magnussen side by side, right in Vettel's rearview mirror. So hopefully those two are going to keep each other preoccupied and allow Vettel to break away from this. As Ricciardo finally gets the Haas, but here he comes. He's going to go down the inside, unfortunately, and this is probably going to be a slam dunk for Ricciardo. He's on the medium tyres as well, but Sebastian, credit to him, he's going to fight it. Pushes Ricciardo out wide. Ricciardo, though, is going to stick with him. Still side by side. Are they going to go side by side through Copse? Place where Christian Horner says you can't do it. And no, you can do it, as it turns out. So Christian Horner probably should keep his mouth shut on certain occasions, but as you can see, they're both still side by side through Maggots and Beckett's and onto the hanger straight. Sebastian's going to get the DRS and get back ahead of the McLaren. There you go. Back up into P15. Meanwhile, we have Gasly's in P9. Bottas has gotten ahead of this. Bottas has gotten ahead of everyone here, but fortunately for us, Zhou dropped back away from Gasly, so now Gasly is fighting Bottas and Ocon. Ocon's on the hard tyres as well, so he's going longer, but these are like the 2 cars that we would normally be fighting in this situation, but hopefully, if Bottas has got the pace, which I believe he does in that Alfa Romeo, then if we can just keep slipstreaming him until we get back up to the back of Norris, unless Gasly decides, you know what, I want to get back ahead of this. So that same scenario, Bottas is probably going to fight this all the way, and he gets back ahead.
Still a lot to play for.
So as we look at the we look up ahead, Norris is on the back of Sainz and Alonso, who are still fighting each other, and then you got the 2 Mercs scrapping. And then the Red Bulls, in their own little world, Perez is leading from Verstappen, but I wonder how long that will last. Meanwhile, in the background, the 2 Brits in the Mercs, Hamilton gets back ahead of George Russell. As we now, as they swing round towards Club and Vale. So, and now Sainz has gotten ahead of Alonso, and now Norris is having a look. And Ocon has gotten past both Gasly, just trying to have a look at Bottas as well. So now we've got Sainz in the background having a look at the back of us. Just everything's going on at the moment. Magnussen's re-overtaken Vettel again.
Haas with an overtake. Let's have a look.
As we
Now,
just see it here.
focus on the Haas.
Focusing too much on Ricciardo, and Magnussen's just come and swoop round the outside of us, which is not ideal. We've got a yellow flag in sector 1. Something's happened somewhere. It's just the car running wide from the sound of it, and it's Ricciardo who's locked up.
Now look at this. Daniel Ricciardo involved.
He's locked up. It's not turn 2, it's turn 3, but he's locked up and gone out wide, and he's allowed the Hasses and Vettel back through. So, all happening at the moment. This is Gasly's group that's still being led by Bottas. But so long as Gasly sticks within this DRS train, he's still in a good position to at least score some points, hopefully. Unless a safety car occurs. So now, as we look back at Vettel, who's still hounding Magnussen. Hulkenberger's dropped away a bit. He's out the DRS range, so he's no longer a problem. So we can actually just focus on getting Vettel past Magnussen, turn everything up, and down the inside he goes, and back up into P15. So
Okay.
it's going to be the story of how things are at the moment. And now, unfortunately, Gasly's going to lose another place, predictably to the Ferrari of the defending world champion Charles Leclerc.
Aston Martin have just gained a race position.
That was kind of coming, unfortunately, especially with Charles Leclerc. We just don't have the pace at the moment on this circuit, especially in the dry conditions. That is the unfortunate truth of the matter. So Gasly's pit window's not for another 11 laps, and already you can see the pace difference there with DRS. The other three fronts just pulled cleanly away from Gasly. So we need to get that drag reduction sorted on the chassis and the side pods, just to get a little bit of speed back. So for now, we'll skip away and see how the guys do later as it comes up to the pit stops. We just come back a little bit later. Verstappen, who was leading, has spun going through the village section, and has dropped. He hasn't dropped any places to the Mercs. They've been busy fighting each other, but he is out of touch with his teammate. And now the people are... Oh, hang on a minute. Hang on a moment here. A lot of these guys have just pitted. Stafford's on hards. Bottas has come in. Hamilton's gone to hards, but they've gone to hards so early. Are they doing the two-stop? Are they doing the two-stop? That's probably are. They're going... Yeah, Bottas is going on the hards. So these guys are definitely doing the two-stop. That much is a definite. Verstappen's come out ahead of Magnussen and Vettel squabbling, and that's just giving Magnussen the DRS to get away from us. Interesting. So these got right. So Verstappen pitted. They pitted at the end of lap 17. So they are doing a two-stop. Whereas we might as well chance it. We haven't got the pace for a two-stop. That's just cold hard fact. We haven't got the pace for this two-stop. So now, Perez has stayed out. Russell has stayed out. So has Sainz and Alonso. Ocon's here on the hards. He's obviously doing the one stop. That much is a given, but this is going to be interesting. Pit window opens in 2 laps. There's another yellow flag at sector 1 for a car going wide, and it's Magnussen. Okay, so this has just made Vettel's life so much easier. And there you go, straight off into the gravel. He's going to drop. He's going to stop where he is, so we don't have to worry about Magnussen anymore. Vettel can just cruise and do what he needs to. Because he's probably going to have. Ricciardo's already gotten past that, not in this caught up. So, but then again, Hamilton, Norris, Bottas, they're all behind these guys. So, is it worth? Just having, I think it's probably worth having Gasly stick it out for the one stop. We might as well, because none of these other guys have come in. I mean, I follow Perez now, race leader. He's comfortable. He's got every right to do the one stop. He may as well. We watch him now. Yeah, he's sticking to the one stop, which means Russell's going to have to do it to cover him. Yeah. And in the background, Sainz Alonso who's still fighting. Leclerc's gained massively out of this. So he's going to stay on the one stop. That's going to give him so many more positions doing this. So he might as well just keep Gasly out, because this is going to give him more positions. Albon's now pitted, so he's on the two stop. He may be on the one stop, but his hard tyres are going to be so dead at the end of the stint if he tries that. So this is going to give Vettel another place, up to P11. So this is going to be interesting to see where these go, because Verstappen, Hamilton, Norris and Bottas, they're all definitely doing the two stop. That is a definite. So the one stop might be the play to keep Gasly in track position. We'll have to see. So let's go through to the Gasly's pit stop and see what happens. Right, just coming up to the end of lap 23 now. A lot of the guys are now in. Perez, Alonso, Sainz and Zhou have now gone in. So this is going to be our turn to stop. So let's get Gasly in onto the hard tyres at the end of this lap.
And McLaren with
May as well fully push with these tyres, because there's no point in saving them anymore. And we're actually quite close, believe it or not, to Leclerc and Russell. We managed to remain in the pocket of Leclerc.
We think we can lean on the tyres more.
Yeah.
And in the pocket of Leclerc's DRS was Zhou and Ocon, but then obviously Ocon came in and Zhou dropped away a little bit. But we're only 3 seconds off of Russell, so that's not too bad, all things considered, in the long run. If we look at the tyres for everyone else, Verstappen, Stroll's yet to pit. Perez has come out behind Verstappen, but Verstappen is stopping again, along with Hamilton and Norris. Sainz has just come out ahead of Vettel, who's got Ocon and Alonso behind him. So Ocon's strategy has put him ahead of Alonso for the time being. But again, that's beggars belief at the moment, because they've still got to navigate Vettel to get to Sainz again. And there we go. And now
In the box.
Gasly's in along with Leclerc and Russell. So Verstappen, Verstappen's going to retake the lead of this race along with Perez in second. So it's just a case of where Gasly's going to come out. Hamilton's going to be P3. Here comes all these guys. So we're going to be behind Vettel at this point. There goes Hamilton, Gasly, Norris, Ocon. And yep, we just come up behind Vettel, who's been overtaken by both the Alpines. So now,
Yeah, take it easy.
Copy.
just need Gasly to stick with Sebastian, getting the DRS toe. And then I'll just allow Vettel to overtake him down the hang-up. I just need Gasly to catch up and get in that DRS range first before I do that. It shouldn't be too hard. He is closing on the fresh tyres, so that is an added bonus. Well, Vettel is dropping away due to his tyre wear, which is starting to get worse and worse. We still have DRS for this lap, but I'm going to need to consider making the switch soon. Especially as Zhou, for crying out loud. Guan Yu Zhou has just re-overtaken Gasly.
You did a good job.
That's a position gained for AlphaTauri.
And now Zhou's the one who's going to get in Vettel's DRS now. Following round. Right. Attack. Overtake.
They'll come to us.
Copy.
Unfortunately, Joe does not get the DRS, and Gasly is just going to sail past. Back into here.
Good job.
Now, Sebastian, I need you to not fight your teammate here.
Looks like Aston Martin have just gained a race position.
So we're going to turn that off because Joe is directly behind us still. Right, now I need him to not fight your teammate. Gasly, meanwhile, you need to go on defend and aggressive.
Defend.
Copy.
Meanwhile, hold back the car behind Sebastian, if you would please. And put Gasly back onto neutral. I don't want to be dealing with Joe anymore, so we're going to stick with Sebastian. We're going to make sure that he holds back Joe to allow Gasly to get away. So that is one annoyance I don't want to be dealing with constantly throughout this race. We'll go aggressive, onto defend.
Happy to push.
Copy.
Just make sure Joe can't do anything to get past Gasly.
Drop back a bit.
Copy.
Gasly's got a nice, starting to build up a nice little gap now, with Vettel holding back Joe, which is just what we need him to do. There we go. Good job, Sebastian. Good job. Just keep doing that. Just keep doing that. Let's go through Maggots and Beckett's. On to defend. Aggressive with your driving. Make sure he doesn't get past so easily. Although it's probably going to be a slam dunk. And yep, there he goes. Round the outside. But
Yeah.
what we are going to do is take him off, hold back cars behind.
Anything I can do?
Yep, as soon as you get into the next DRS zone, we're going to have you do something. So just be patient. Just be patient. I guess, of course, Bottas decides he's just going to ruin it, which he is. So that's that idea out the window.
Looks like that was a
That's that
position
idea
gain.
out the window. So
Alfa
we'll just have
Romeo.
Sebastian do his best to stick with Bottas. Fortunately, though, Gasly has got Joe nowhere near him, which is what we wanted. So let's allow him to get away. Sebastian's going to make his stop, and he's going to drop behind a fair few cars. So, yep, don't worry, Sebastian, you'll be fine. At the moment, though, just noticed up in the lead, Perez has overtaken Verstappen. So Perez has found some form in this stage of the season. He's giving Max a real run for his money here. Sainz, meanwhile, has caught the Mercs and overtaken them. So Sainz is now up into P3, Hamilton P4, with Russell, Norris, Ocon, Leclerc's joining the party along with Alonso, and then Gasly, all on his lonesome in P10. Hopefully, if those guys keep fighting hard enough, that'll make our life a little bit easier. So, onto the mediums for Sebastian for his pit stop.
So we think box.
May as well go for the attack on the tyres because we don't need them anymore. So for now, quiet part of the race until Verstappen, Hamilton, Ocon and Norris come in. So we'll skip ahead and see how things go for the guys after this round of stops. Okay, we've just cut through to start lap 37, and all those guys who made their 2 stops have just come in, and Gasly's just gotten ahead of Verstappen as he's come out the pit lane. So this is where we are now. The other guys who made their 2nd stops, Bottas, Hamilton and Norris, they are a ways behind. So Gasly has got a decent position here to at least score some decent points. All these guys up front here, bar Ocon, are going to the end. Ocon's definitely making the 2nd stop, I know that for a fact. So this is the interesting part of the race now. So as Gasly's got Verstappen all over the back of him. I'm not going to fight this one. This is just going to cost us too much time. So harvest and conserve. Just let him go, Pierre. Just let him go. No need to fight him. Back to here and back to neutral.
Let's focus.
Yeah. As much as I want to race the Red Bulls, we're not with where Max came out in comparison to us on that 2 stop. It was going to be an inevitability anyway, so we might as well just not waste time fighting him and just let him go. Focus on what we need to do and just score the points we need. Meanwhile, Vettel has caught up to Hulkenberg and Ricciardo scrapping. As far as I'm aware, those 2, Hulkenberg will be coming in again, but I don't think Ricciardo is. So this is legit racing Ricciardo for position where we are now. So we'll follow Sebastian through the village section onto overtake and attack. See if we can get at least one of these guys. And we're neither of us going to make the move as it turns out, so let us now. Lap 38, so we've got 14 laps left. So as Sebastian puts Ricciardo off, as Ocon is now in the pits, as Gasly comes through into the final section, but Ocon has still not made it to his box, so Gasly's going to get another place here. He'll go up into P7. Albon's now in as well. Meanwhile, Ricciardo, Hulkenberg and Vettel are still fighting. Vettel's managed to get alongside. There goes Hulkenberg into the pits at last. So now it's just down to Vettel and Ricciardo. Coming to the end of the race, and to compound Verstappen's misery, he's locked up while chasing down one of the Ferraris and has ended up back behind them again. He managed to get up to 4th, but he's now dropped out of contention for that podium position. Meanwhile, Leclerc has slowly been gaining on Perez, but it's not going to be enough in the 5 laps we have left. Russell is still fighting Alonso. But as for us, Gasly has been slowly been caught by Hamilton, who's him and Ocon both got past Joe, so Ocon's still a ways behind, but it's Hamilton who's going to be presenting us the biggest challenge. Meanwhile, Vettel has been embroiled in this 3-way fight with Ricciardo and Bottas. And it's been back and forward all over the place, so we're going to have to see how things go for the end, for the final part. We'll skip ahead a little bit to see how Gasly does. He's already got Hamilton right on him. Like I said, this is probably going to be an inevitability. This sort of track we are not very strong at. So I get the feeling with Hamilton being on the medium tyres as well, this is going to be an inevitability no matter what we do. So we'll go ahead towards the last few laps and see how things have fared.
Last lap now.
Right, we're on the last lap now, guys. Unfortunately, I don't think Gasly is going to get back at Hamilton. Like I said, the inevitability of Hamilton has happened. He overtook Gasly, is now going to pull away just out of DRS range. So, did our best with Gasly. Meanwhile, for Sebastian, we're going to try and give this everything to get back ahead of Bottas. Overtake down the back straight, see if we can get a little bit closer to him. There's the DRS wing open. They're back to neutral. I want to try and save a little bit of the ERS before the hanger straight. As we go round towards Cops Corner, and Sergio Perez, as you can see, has just taken the checker flag. He has won the British Grand Prix ahead of Charles Leclerc, and Max Verstappen does come back and get the podium right at the last.
Perez has crossed
So now,
the line first.
just going to stick with Vettel, see if he can try and do anything. He's not going to be close enough, I don't think. No.
That's checkered flag.
Might as well deploy until the end, see if he can do anything.
Well done, that was a tough day.
Gasly has taken P8, so he managed to hold off, keep Ocon at bay at least. Well, unfortunately, Sebastian couldn't quite get Bottas. He was close.
That's checkered flag.
He was close, but
Well, it was a
That's,
struggle.
it was a struggle, Sebastian. It was indeed, but that's just the way things. That's just the way some of these races go. But their final confirmation: Sergio Perez wins the British Grand Prix ahead of Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen. Perez finally getting that first win of the season. Carlos Sainz makes up P4 ahead of Alonso, Russell, Hamilton, Gasly, Ocon, and Norris. So this is going to help Alpine in their fight against us in the Constructors' Championship. No change here in the drivers at the moment, although the gap has now shrunk from Leclerc and Verstappen to now 13 points. Meanwhile, in the Constructors, again, no change, but Alpine are now, with an 8-point gain on us, are visibly closer in the fight for P4. In the Championship, no points for Alfa Romeo, so they've fallen behind. McLaren, only 1 point for them, and AlphaTauri, Haas and Williams still languishing at the bottom. So yeah, there's Sergio Perez, his first win of the season. So it's going to be... Still got a few power circuits to go, unfortunately, so this is probably going to be the struggle for us at the moment, this midpoint in the season. Just trying to score points. But we got our objectives done for our hot streak, finishing position and qualifying. So we've got a decent chunk of money there. But yeah, Red Bull Ring, the Red Bull Ring's going to be the next one. That's going to be an interesting one, to say the least, because it's not overly reliant on power, but it is quite a fast circuit. So it's going to be a difficult one, to say the least. So we've got another regulation vote coming up as well. So this is going to be an interesting episode in the next one. For now, guys, do feel free to leave a like and a comment. It really helps, and share the video around so that everyone can see it. Subscribe to the channel and turn on those notifications so you don't miss any of those videos. I'm David Clayton of KZR Racing, and we'll see you next time for the Austrian Grand Prix. Goodbye.